Talk about completely jeopardizing a legacy. It's unbelievable, man, how irrelevant CM Punk's return has been in WWE and even in AEW, if we're being honest, man. It's just been so irrelevant. The guy he was back in 2011, that's gone. Think about this from a kayfabe perspective, right? Just strictly from a kayfabe perspective. In 2011, CM Punk sat down on the ramp and he said that he knows more than Vince McMahon about wrestling, right? And he has some good promo skills, so somehow he was able to fucking manage to convince people that that is the case, right? He was able to do that. He is charismatic, man. You have to give him that. I was what fucking 11 years old at the time, and I loved him, man. I really loved it. I thought this guy was cool as fuck. And there are some things that he has going for himself, but fast forward to 2025. You look at this guy. He is the complete opposite of the person he was back then. Strictly from kayfabe's perspective. How the fuck does this make any sense? Why the fuck is anybody supposed to care about this guy? Ideally, CM Punk right now should be a heel because he is a hypocrite. In real life as well, quite frankly, but also in kayfabe. This guy exposed himself. It doesn't make any sense, man. When he got fired from AEW, in my opinion, that should have been it. That should have been it. Or even better, just don't go anywhere because just I don't know, maintain your legacy, man. This is the first time ever that the audience was chanting somebody's name for 7 fucking years. Doesn't happen all the time, man. Doesn't happen for everybody. It happened for him. Maybe sometimes it's better to die as a hero and just let it be that instead of coming back and in a way live long enough to become a villain. He's not a villain. One day he's gonna go into Hall of Fame. No one's gonna give a fuck. Imagine this. Imagine this, right? He never went to AEW. He never came back to WWE. And let's say a few years from now, he was inducted in the Hall of Fame. How exciting would that be? But now, it just doesn't make any sense, man. Everything he has done since he has come back has been irrelevant because now he's basically a corporate guy. And the reason he got famous was because he was standing up against a corporation, right? Now, I am not talking about whether he was right in 2011 or not. That's a completely different subject, right? I'm talking about this strictly from a kayfabe perspective. There is a guy, there is a wrestling character who's like, hey, these guys, they're a bunch of politicians. These guys have no idea what works today. And people were already a little frustrated, so it worked as well because people were like, hey, we are getting a bit bored back in 2011. That's what was happening because a lot of talent left immediately if you think about it. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Undertaker, all these guys, they left in 2009, 2010, or became part-time if they did leave, you know? And there were a bunch of other people as well. Kurt Angle wasn't there anymore. Quite a few people left. So, because of that, this guy who just comes up and he stands up to John Cena, that was actually pretty nice. So, his rise was actually very organic. Him winning the WWE title was a good story. They didn't follow up on that very well, but a wrestling star was made, nevertheless. And man, like, if you think about wrestlers like The Rock or maybe Stone Cold, their actual run in the company was like 5 to 6 years, maybe, if that. They didn't stick around for that long. If they did, I don't think anything would have been tarnished, but eventually I think people would have gotten a bit bored. That's what I think, you know? Unless they were able to really fucking reinvent themselves or something. I think The Rock could have done that. Honestly, not so sure about Stone Cold in that matter because once his rivalry with, let's say, Vince McMahon ends, where do you really see that guy going? So there were a bunch of things, man. That's the thing with CM Punk as well. Once that entire chapter ended, where he fought John Cena, and after that he was entertaining for quite a while. He had that title reign, which was entertaining, which was fine. Then he lost the title. He was kind of just around for a year or something, and then he left because he was frustrated. Now, all the real life issues aside, man, strictly from a kayfabe perspective, it made sense that his character was like, hey, I'm frustrated with these guys. He wins the title, he loses the title. He's like, hey, I'm being mistreated here now. Like an year after losing the title. and he leaves. It's an unsatisfying end, but sometimes that's for the better, I would argue. He did not need to come back at all. He was already a fucking millionaire, man. You know? Why did he have to come back? Now, look, the bright side for him, I'm sure, is that he earns a little more money. But my question is at what cost? I would argue, man, his losses at UFC, they were kind of irrelevant. I mean, maybe he could have performed a little better, but it doesn't matter if he lost 2 matches because if you think about it, this is a wrestler who is past his prime, so to say, because he left wrestling and now he's trying something else, right? I think he went to UFC in 2015 and his WWE title reign was in 2012. So it's not that long ago, and again, it wasn't for the best. What happened? It wasn't a good light on wrestling as a whole. That the guy who held the title for so long fucking got his ass beaten up. But it wasn't that big of a deal, man. Honestly, I feel like people were able to look past it, especially wrestling fans, man. They were able to look past it, you know? So that wasn't an issue. I think the real issue is that he came back and he wasn't able to live up to the hype. He just wasn't. That's the reality, man. Now he's the world champion. Honestly, does anyone really give a fuck? This is the guy who was complaining about The Rock, who was a part timer, taking up his spot at WrestleMania. Now he's literally doing the same fucking shit. He's a part timer right now. Let's not get it twisted, right? He's a part timer, and he's literally doing the same thing. He got injured when he came back at the Rumble, but let's assume he didn't get injured. This guy would have main evented night one, which in my opinion doesn't really count, but you know, he's taking somebody's spot for the world title match. So he's literally being a hypocrite in so many ways, and that, in my opinion, tarnishes his legacy because he's one of those very few wrestlers, right? If you think about Stone Cold, you know he doesn't really hate Vince McMahon. It's just something that they're doing for fun on television, you know? But with CM Punk, those lines were a bit blurred. So this guy, being such a hypocrite, really tarnishes his legacy. Really fucking tarnishes his legacy, you know? I don't think when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, anyone's really gonna give a fuck. I don't think so. People are gonna act like they do. They will, because they want to. Honestly, we want legacies to be created, but it's very hard to do that and not just completely destroy them. John Cena's legacy was kind of hurt. It's not gonna be destroyed or anything, but if you make a guy tap out, if you make a guy whose slogan is never give up, if you make him tap out, that's gonna fucking have an effect, man. And we can sit here and act like it doesn't have an effect, but it does. So it's just that, man. Legacies are being destroyed. Legacies are hard to create, and some of them are being destroyed.